Welcome back, fearless explorers. In our last video, we dove into the heart-pounding world of fear. Now get ready to push even deeper into the dark corners of your mind. We're about to unravel the very fabric of fear itself. Ever wondered why some people thrive on terror while others crumble? Or how a single traumatic moment can echo through generations? In the next few minutes, we'll journey from the tiniest genes in your body to the vast reaches of human history, uncovering the hidden forces that shape your fears. You'll discover how to hijack your own fear response, learn why your ancestors' experiences still haunt you today, and glimpse the cutting-edge future of fear research. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at fear the same way again. So you're brave enough to face your fears head on? Let's get into it.
Let's explore the full-body experience of fear in detail. In the cardiovascular system, heart rate increases, blood pressure rises, and blood vessels in the skin constrict, causing pallor. The respiratory system responds with rapid and shallow breathing, while bronchi dilate to allow more oxygen intake. The digestive system slows or stops, the mouth becomes dry, and nausea may occur. In the nervous system, pupils dilate, peripheral vision may decrease, causing tunnel vision, and hearing becomes more acute. The muscular system tenses, especially in the neck, shoulders, and back, and trembling or shaking may occur. The endocrine system releases adrenaline and cortisol, increasing blood sugar levels. The integumentary system, or skin, responds with increased sweating, goosebumps, and flushing or paleness. All of these changes happen in a matter of seconds, preparing you to face the perceived threat. Let's explore different types of fear in depth. Innate fears are those we're born with, like the fear of loud noises or falling. They're hardwired into our brains for survival. Examples include fear of heights, darkness, and certain animals like snakes or spiders. Learned fears develop through experience or observation. For example, a child might develop a fear of dogs after being bitten. Learned fears can be direct from personal experience, vicarious from observing others, or instructional from being told something is dangerous. Phobias are intense, irrational fears of specific objects or situations. Common phobias include arachnophobia, fear of spiders, acrophobia, fear of heights, claustrophobia, fear of enclosed spaces, and agoraphobia, fear of open or crowded spaces. Social fears revolve around social situations, like public speaking, meeting new people, or being judged by others. Existential fears are more abstract fears about our existence, such as thanatophobia, the fear of death, fear of the unknown, and fear of meaninglessness.
Hey there, fear explorers. It's quiz time. Let's see if you've been paying attention. What are the 5 main types of fear we just covered? Pause the video and try to list them all. Got your answers? Great. If you guessed innate fears, learned fears, phobias, social fears, and existential fears, you'd be right. If you nailed all 5, you're on your way to becoming a fear expert. If not, no worries. We're all learning together. Before we move on, if you could do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, it really helps the channel, and it might just scare away the YouTube algorithm gremlins. Let's get back into it, guys.
Our understanding of fear has evolved significantly over time. Let's take a journey through the history of fear research. In ancient times, fear was often attributed to supernatural causes or imbalances in bodily humors. In the 19th century, Charles Darwin proposed that fear expressions were evolutionarily conserved across species. In the early 20th century, behaviorists like John Watson believed all fears were learned. His infamous Little Albert experiment demonstrated how a child could be conditioned to fear a white rat. In the mid-20th century, Joseph Ledoux discovered the role of the amygdala in fear processing. Stanley Schachter and Jerome Singer proposed the two-factor theory of emotion, suggesting that physiological arousal and cognitive interpretation both contribute to emotional experiences like fear. In the late 20th century, the development of neuroimaging techniques allowed scientists to observe fear responses in the brain in real time. Elizabeth Phelps conducted groundbreaking research on how the amygdala influences emotional learning and memory. In the 21st century, optogenetics allows researchers to manipulate specific neural circuits involved in fear. Epigenetic studies reveal how traumatic experiences can affect fear responses across generations. Recent studies have identified several genes that may influence fear responses, including the pt gene, which affects dopamine levels in the prefrontal cortex, the 5-HTTLPR gene, which influences serotonin transport and is associated with anxiety, the BDNF gene, which is involved in neuroplasticity and fear learning. However, having these genes doesn't guarantee a fearful disposition. Environmental factors and life experiences play a crucial role in how these genetic predispositions are expressed.
All right, genies, another pop quiz. We just learned about 3 genes that influence fear responses. Can you name at least one? Pause and think about it for a second. Got one? Awesome. Was it COMT, 5-HTTLPR, or BDNF? If you remembered any of these, give yourself a pat on the back. You're officially speaking the language of fear genetics. Now, if this gene talk has got you all excited, why not share that enthusiasm and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications? Trust me, your amygdala will thank you for all the cool fear facts coming your way.
Through various techniques and therapies, we can train our brains to better manage fear. Let's explore these methods in detail. Exposure therapy involves gradually exposing yourself to the feared object or situation in a controlled, safe environment. Over time, your brain learns that the fear is unfounded. Cognitive behavioral therapy focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns associated with fear. By challenging irrational thoughts, you can reduce fear responses. Mindfulness and meditation can help you stay grounded in the present moment, reducing anxiety about potential future threats. Breathing techniques can help activate the parasympathetic nervous system, countering the effects of the fight or flight response. Virtual reality therapy uses VR technology to create safe, controlled environments for facing fears. Medication may be prescribed in some cases to help manage severe anxiety or phobias. Neurofeedback allows individuals to observe their brain activity in real time and learn to control it. These techniques don't just help with everyday fears, they're also crucial in treating anxiety disorders and PTSD. By understanding and addressing the root causes of our fears, we can lead fuller, more confident lives. Understanding the science of fear doesn't make us fearless, but it does give us the tools to face our fears with knowledge and courage. It's important to remember that fear itself isn't the enemy. It's a vital survival mechanism that's kept our species alive for millennia. Fear can be both a hindrance and a help. It can hold us back from taking risks, but it can also push us to achieve great things. Many of humanity's greatest accomplishments have come from people who were afraid, but acted anyway. Consider the first astronauts who ventured into space, or the civil rights activists who faced violence to stand up for equality. Their courage wasn't the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So the next time you feel that familiar rush of fear, remember, it's not just an emotion, it's an incredible piece of evolutionary engineering. And with understanding comes the power to harness that energy and push beyond your limits. Let's review some fascinating fear facts. The scientific term for an extreme or irrational fear is phobia. Some people experience a paradoxical pleasure from fear, which is why we enjoy horror movies and roller coasters. This phenomenon is called recreational fear. Fears can be contagious. We can pick up fears by observing others' reactions. This is called social learning or observational learning. Some fears, like the fear of snakes, seem to be universal across cultures, suggesting an evolutionary basis. Fear can actually boost memory formation, which is why we often have vivid memories of scary experiences. The fear response can be triggered in as little as 12 milliseconds, faster than conscious thought. Humans are born with only 2 innate fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. All other fears are learned. Some people suffer from phobophobia, the fear of fear itself. Coulrophobia, the fear of clowns, became more prevalent after the release of Stephen King's It. The amygdala can process fearful stimuli even when we're not consciously aware of them, a phenomenon known as subliminal fear conditioning. The study of fear has wide-ranging applications beyond personal development. In mental health treatment, understanding fear mechanisms helps in developing more effective treatments for anxiety disorders, PTSD, and phobias. In education, knowledge of how fear affects learning can help create more effective and supportive educational environments. In marketing and advertising, fear appeals are often used in public health campaigns and product marketing, though their effectiveness and ethics are debated. In politics and social movements, understanding collective fears can shed light on political behaviors and social dynamics. In artificial intelligence, modeling fear responses in AI systems could lead to more nuanced and human-like decision-making processes. In virtual reality and gaming, creating more realistic and immersive experiences in entertainment and training simulations. In law enforcement and military training, improving preparation for high-stress situations and developing better stress management techniques. In sports psychology, helping athletes overcome performance anxiety and push their limits. As we look to the future, fear research continues to evolve. Emerging areas of study include the epigenetics of fear, how traumatic experiences can affect gene expression and be passed down through generations. Neuroplasticity in fear, exploring how the brain can rewire itself to overcome deeply ingrained fears. Artificial fear, creating and studying fear-like responses in artificial neural networks to better understand biological fear. Cultural neuroscience of fear, investigating how cultural differences influence fear processing in the brain. Psychedelic-assisted therapy, exploring how substances like MDMA or psilocybin might help in treating fear-related disorders. Fear and climate change, studying how existential fears related to environmental threats affect behavior and decision-making. Quantum biology of fear, investigating whether quantum effects in the brain play a role in the rapid processing of fear stimuli. As we've seen, fear is a complex, multifaceted emotion that has shaped our evolution, our societies, and our individual lives. By understanding fear, we gain insight not just into our own psyches, but into the very nature of what it means to be human. Whether we're cowering from a perceived threat or pushing ourselves to new heights, fear is there, an integral part of the human experience. It's a reminder of our vulnerability, but also of our resilience. It's a challenge, but also an opportunity for growth. So the next time you feel fear creeping in, remember this journey we've taken. Remember the intricate dance of neurons, hormones, and experiences that create that feeling. Remember that you're experiencing an emotion that has been honed by millions of years of evolution. And remember that with understanding comes power. The power to not just face your fears, but to harness them, to grow from them, and to use them as a springboard to become the best version.
Time for a little self-reflection, brave viewers. Think about a fear you have. Now, can you identify one method we discussed that might help you manage it? Exposure therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, maybe some mindfulness? Take a moment to consider which approach might work best for you. Got an idea? Fantastic. Remember, understanding your fear is the first step to conquering them. You're already on your way to becoming fear's worst nightmare. Speaking of nightmares, you know what keeps content creators up at night? Viewers who don't subscribe. So if you enjoyed the fear educational content, why not exercise those creator demons by clicking that subscribe button? It's guaranteed to be less scary than most of the fears we've talked about.